Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Be Honest podcast. Today we're joined by the smart, hilarious, and unfiltered Dyson. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, like Jason but with a D. Yeah. There you
Jason, but with a D. Okay,
go.
yeah. You probably know her from TikTok, where she's built a community by being unapologetically herself and making us laugh with her takes on everything. She's also the co-host of Two Idiot Girls she does with her sister, where they talk about life, family, pop culture, and everything in between. I'm super excited to talk to you today, so let's jump in. So everyone, welcome Dyson.
Yay, thank you. Thank
Hi, thank you so much for coming on.
you for having me. I'm very excited.
Of course, of course. Okay, so we're gonna do like some little icebreakers in the beginning, and then we're gonna jump into the juicy stuff.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we're starting strong. Okay,
Yeah.
what's the most chaotic queer date story that you're willing to tell us?
Okay. I have one that I've shared like a few times. It was like I was in an 8-year relationship and then I went through a breakup. I was engaged. Like I'm like a tried and true lesbian. Like I've been there. And I started like trying to date like 4-ish months after it, which I still think was too soon, but I was like, let me just try because I don't know. And I matched with this girl on Bumble. We had like flirted for a while on the app and then through text. So I was excited. And then I want to say we talked for like I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, which is too long when I look at it now, but I didn't have that much experience in dating at the time. And we went on a date. She wanted to go on a picnic where we were painting. And now I look at it and I'm like, that is too big of a date to do the first time you meet each other. Like we for sure should have just went to like coffee or like hung out at the park. But we
Mhm.
were like, no, we should paint. As soon as I got there, she was being like not negging, but I couldn't understand what was happening. Like, I also like people will be mean to me and I won't register if that's what they're doing till later because I'm just assuming everyone's being nice to me and I'm like, maybe she's having a weird day. So like as soon as she got there, well, first of all, she said she was 5'10. I'm only 5'4. And we were looking eye to eye. I had like platform like dock sandals on, and I was like, why are we looking eye to eye? So they probably made me like 5'6. So I was like, so you're lying about your height. I was like, okay. And then she said, you're way taller than you said. And I was like, no, I'm not. You're lying. So I was like, okay. And I've grown up around tall people my whole life. Like my sister's 6 foot, my dad's 6'7", my brother's 6'1". Like I know what tall people look like. Am I good at guessing height? No, but I know when people are tall.
Totally.
Especially because I'm 5'4". And so because I'm used to looking up at everyone. So anyways, we go on the date. She said that then we're sitting down like to set up the blankets and stuff. It was a really cute date idea. I just think it was too soon to do that.
Totally.
And we were both really nervous, which I could tell, which I was like, that's fine. I don't like I'm not mad at her for that. Like I was nervous too. And she was just being weird to me. So she was like, oh, are you allergic to anything? As we're setting up the blankets, I was like, oh, just like I used to be allergic to eggs and dairy, like stuff like so I was vegan for a really long time. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, just eggs and dairy. And she goes, I know that. That's why I got us vegan food. And I was like, all right, well, why did you ask me that? And I was like, all right. I was like, okay, whatever. So I thought maybe she's just being snappy because she's like nervous. Even
Yeah.
then, like I should not be giving someone I barely know this amount of patience, but I don't know how to date at this time. I've been with the same person for 8 years. And then anyways, the weirdest part of the day, because it was like up and down like that the whole time. It was kind of exhausting. We played is it We're Not Really Strangers, or I call it the white people card game in the red box. And on a first date, because it was like level whatever, like it was like the highest one. Now I know that we did that on our first date, and I'd never played it. I watched people play it on TikTok, but like I didn't know what they were doing. And everyone's like, "Oh, they make me cry." So I was like, "Oh, fun!" Like I cry all the time. We could play this on a first date. And so I can't remember what my card said, but it was something along the lines of like a first impression of me. So she was like, "Oh, when I saw your profile on Bumble, I had thought, oh wow, like." She like usually when people make their dating profiles they try to make them to like attract other people, but yours was just like you being yourself. And then I was like, that's so rude. Even in my head I was like, okay, like trying to register what she's saying. I was like, right, okay. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then I stayed on the date for another 2 hours because I like didn't know how to end it, and I like didn't know how to say I wanted to leave, so I just kept sitting there. And then she kept kind of hinting that she was like, she had a roommate, but she was like, oh, maybe it's out of town. She like come hang out. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And then I feel really bad because she was so nice to me. She wasn't mean. I just felt like, I don't know, she was like awkward or I don't know. But I felt like, what's it called? I like didn't know. I just didn't register that she was being mean to me. So I was driving home, and then I was telling my sister, "Yeah, I kind of got to a point where I was just kind of like whatever." Because like on a date, you're trying to be impressive, but like she made me feel so weird the whole time that I was kind of like whatever. Like we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
And then I told my sister that she said that to me. She's like, "She said that to your face." And then I was like, yeah, she said, like, you're just being yourself. And I was like, I'm wearing a 2-piece bikini on that. Like, you're rude. And I was like, wasn't that like weird that she would say that? And my sister goes, that's rude. And I go, oh yeah, it is. And she's like, when did that happen? I go, the first like 15 minutes into the day. And she goes, and you stayed there for 2 hours? I was like, yes. So also you might see my cat. Anytime I'm in here, he
Oh
swears no
no,
one ever
it's
pays attention to
totally
him.
fine. What is your cat's name?
This one's YB. I have two of them, but
Oh my
this one's like
god.
my little Velcro baby. So he will be jumping around like he doesn't have anything to do. But
You're like totally fine. I have my dog's in here and I'm like, where did he I don't even know where he went, but he's somewhere in here and it's okay. It's okay. Well that's crazy.
yeah, that was like my first like entrance back into dating. I hadn't been dating in 8 years, and also too like my ex and I we met when we were 19. So like I'm gonna be 32 this year. Like Tinder and stuff came out that year, so like I've never done
Yeah.
dating. I've never done online dating, and then now I'm entering into this like right after being with someone for that long. It was tough, but I've learned a lot since then for sure. Yeah.
So what do you think it is? Like why do you think that like you weren't able to like notice that she was being mean? Like what do you think it is? Like why do you see the good in everyone? I guess that's the question. I know that's super deep. But like why do you think you were like the whole time you were like maybe she's just like having a bad day or like, like why don't you think you were able to like see it?
I think well, I've always been like that. Like my sister always talks about how she was like, um, I was the first person she ever stood up for or like bullied someone back for bullying me. So
Mhm.
I think it's just that's how I've always been. I'm a Cancer rising, so that doesn't help. But I also think because I'm a lesbian and I date women, like I'm like, well, why would they lie to me? When a woman lies to me, I'm like, you're disgusting. I can't stand you. Why would you lie? And I'm not even talking about like lying about your height. Like that's weird. Like I don't know why you would do that because I'm gonna clock it when I see you. But like lying about anything, I think I always give women the benefit of the doubt
Mhm.
and queer people in general because I'm like, well, why would they like? I'm thinking that like we're oppressed and like we don't like you know what I mean like and we don't have that much of a community. So like why would we like fuck each other over? Why would we say that? Or why would and I think and I've always just been like that with everyone. It's like it's really worked against me, but I've gotten a lot better over the past years. But I definitely think it's just because I'm like, well, we're both queer, so like why would you I
Yeah.
don't see any reason why you would lie to me. Like we're both excited about the date, we talked about it. So I think that's why or being mean to me. I think it's just I'm like, well, and I always just give everyone the benefit of the doubt and I
Yeah.
can't help it. I'm like, well, she's probably having a weird day. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm kind of the same way too, where I kind of view it the same way. I'm like, we're both a part of the community. Like, we're both lesbians. Like, why? Like, maybe I'm overthinking this. Like, I start gaslighting myself. I'm like,
It's
maybe
anxiety, 1,000,000%. Yes.
yes, 100%. And I'm like, there's no way that she's being mean to me, or there's no way that she just betrayed me, or like, like I always try to find a way around it because I'm like, I would never do that. But
That's
then
you.
I've also had to talk to like people about this, and they're like, Kinley, you can't expect people to react the same way that you would or to act the same way that you would because like you're just going to get your feelings hurt. Like, just because you're a down ass bitch and you're a girl's girl and however you want to word it, not everyone's going to be like that. And so I get so shocked. I'm so shocked whenever something happens. And so I feel like you're kind of same way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm always like, well, I wouldn't do that. Why?
Yeah.
Like she said that. Why would she? I don't think she means that. I think she means this because that's mean. If she meant it the other way, because I would never talk to someone like that. I would never act like that to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom always says like, not everyone's like you. That's why you don't understand. They're like, you don't understand why they did what they did because you would never do what they did, or I can't. But my
Uh-huh.
sister and I talk about this all the time. Where I'm like, I try to put myself in everyone's shoes all the time to the
Uh-huh.
point where I get stuck sometimes, especially in lesbian relationships where I'll just be there forever because I'm like, well, like,
Yeah.
I love her. Why would she do that to me?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, and then you look back and you're like, no, you deserve one, whatever.
Yeah, you were just trying to see the best in them, but then once you get out of the situation, you're like, yeah, that why did I put up with that?
Yeah.
But that's okay. I feel like everyone has to go through that.
Yes.
Um, okay, what is one of your queer hot takes?
Queer hot take. I'm trying to think of one that people won't get mad at because I've talked about avoidant people on my podcast before. I don't think avoidant people don't deserve to be in relationships. I don't think that. I don't even think that's a hot take because I think everyone, well, maybe not everybody, but I do think avoidant people can change and grow. I think that's why this isn't even queer. So I'm just sharing this to share this, but I was thinking that like I think it's one thing to admit that you're avoidant. I think it's another to be self-aware in the way that your avoidant tendencies will affect whoever you're with. So that's the part I get stuck on. And I feel like it's become this new, like, kind of like self-diagnosis on TikTok, like kind of crutch that, because I can only speak to my lesbian dating experience, that a
Mhm.
lot of lesbians are leaning on. I'm like, okay, that's great that you know you're avoidant. I think that's really important to be self-aware, especially because I'm, again, going to be 32 this year. So I'm only dating people who are in their 30s. Why are we dating in our 30s and you're treating me like your girlfriend, and then you do something horrible to me like 2 months in,
Yeah.
and then you're like, well, I don't know, I wasn't looking for anything serious. I go, 2 months in, you're gonna tell me that?
Oh
But at
my
the beginning it wasn't that. So that's where I get kind of like, what are we saying? And
Mhm.
I don't even think that's necessarily queer, because I know men have been doing that for 1 million billion years.
Yeah.
But a queer hot take, I think I don't even think it's a hot take. Like, I don't do dating apps anymore because I get recognized on there and I don't need people seeing my business on there. And I also just don't know that that's where I'm going to meet the love of my life. I know a lot of people have, and and I'm jealous of you guys. I won't lie. But I think I get being ethically non-monogamous. I don't understand hitting on people that are monogamous, because I would get hit up to be a third, or like, oh, I'm solo partnered and I'm looking for, and mine says I'm looking for monogamy, and I would get hit up a lot by that. So I don't like, what's that, a queer hot take? But I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, I guess your queer hot take is that you haven't had the best experiences on dating apps, so it's just not your thing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And I feel like, were you saying that, like, since you obviously were on dating apps, and I'm sure you put your thing as interested in women, other couples would say that they were interested in women, so they would see that you were interested in women, so then they would assume that you were open to joining their relationship. Is that what you were saying?
For being a third. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it's mostly like, I see this more on Bumble, that like men would change their gender to being a woman searching for other women. So, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, and then, so it's just that, it's like men being creepy, which I didn't even, that's completely separate from being a third. And
Hmm.
then it's couples, but I'm like, but it says I'm a lesbian, like, as my thing. So even though I'm a lesbian, and other lesbians may live their lives differently, and I don't care about that, like, good for you. But like, I don't want to sleep with men, and I don't want to sleep
Yeah.
with people that are dating other people. Like, I'm trying to solo date.
Hmm.
One
Hmm.
at a time. I think I also don't understand the well, I understand it. I think it's just not for me. Having a roster is not for me. Maybe that's my queer hot take. But it's
Okay.
just not, because I feel like once I'm doing it, because I've done it a couple of times, there's always one you like more than the other, and that's the one that's not responding. And you're like, okay, well, I don't even care if she responds, and she does. I'm like, yes, I know. We're gonna fall. I think that I cannot focus on multiple people, so I only like to date other people that are only dating one at a time, and then let
Yeah.
us figure it out. If it doesn't work, then
Totally.
but I cannot handle a roster. I get people that can, but it's not for me.
Do you get, like, overwhelmed? Like, is it, like, also overwhelming where you're like, oh shit, I have these people that I need to, like, keep in touch with? Or is it more like, I have these people, but I like this one person more, so, like, why would I keep giving my energy to these people if I only like this person? Is that what
Yeah,
you're—
it's more so that, like, I think I can't really focus my energy on multiple people, because
Yeah.
I've never been able to do that. Like, even like in high school, like having a crush, like I could never have like three crushes. Like I could only pick one. Or
Yeah.
like if I had a crush on like a famous person, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm in love with him, because at the time I thought I was straight. If I found out he had a girlfriend, I'd be like, oh, I can't like him anymore. Like I like, or if they're married, I'm like,
Oh.
oh, because I'm like, I can't imagine us together, or like see it. And this is like someone I'll never meet.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, like it's just not gonna work out. Like, he's taken. So I
That's
think I just
so
can't focus on more than one person. I'm more like just one type of gal.
You're
Yeah.
just an extremely faithful monogamous person.
Yeah. I'm a lover girl for real. So
There's
it's
nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. I feel like I like you said, like, people can do whatever they want with their lives, like, who the fuck cares? But I feel like a lot of people in this world are going to open relationships, which I'm like, that's amazing, good for you. Like, I could never. I'm such a I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say possessive, because it's definitely not like a toxic thing, but like, what's mine is mine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I could not do that, but I have friends that open their relationships, and I'm like,
Yeah.
amazing. If you guys can do that and it spices it up, and it amazing, but I
Mhm.
couldn't. So
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, if you and Drew weren't podcast hosts, what ridiculous reality TV show would you two absolutely dominate?
I would love to say something like The Amazing Race, but I feel like we would probably argue a lot, like because it's that's like high stakes and we'd be really stressed. I
Mhm.
don't know, something we could do together. We've joked about Love Island. I can never do Love Island. That's like, they're like, oh, I'm seeing multiple people. I could never do that. I'm exploring my options. I'm like, no, you just told me you liked me yesterday. Why would you do that to me? Like, I can. I'm watching my boyfriend go on a date with another girl. I'm all, you hate me, so the show's making him like. I would be devastated. I could never do Love Island. That's why I told my sister I would be the girl that they're like, I mean, she's really cool, but like she's trying to be locked down right now. And I go, that's how I am. I don't even know.
I
Um,
would literally be the same way. Every time I watch those shows, I'm like, it's such a unique situation though. Like they go on knowing that they have to be okay with seeing people that they like make out, do all these
yeah,
things. I couldn't. I would be the girl that would be like, you need to choose me and only me, and if you don't, but then that's not the point of the show, you know? So like I'd be horrible.
no, I know. They're like, they wouldn't cast me. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm looking for the love of my life. They're like, this isn't for you, girl. Where I want to have a fun summer. They're like, okay, come on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know, a show we could do together. Because we don't watch a lot of reality TV. That's why I'm like, we only caught Love Island because it was popular this year. And well, I watched Love Island UK. I like that version better. I haven't watched it in a while, but I watched a lot of it.
UK
Um,
is good.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. It'd have to be something that we'd be doing alongside each
Have you
other.
ever seen The Challenge?
Oh, like road rules. Yeah, I mean, maybe that would be really funny. Yeah, probably that. And then my sister would be the one that like she like gets all the women to stand up against all the men, and then I'm like, yeah, like next to her. It would be like for sure. Yeah, what she said, like, and then yeah, probably, and then yeah, we'd gang up on all the men and then have a lot of fun. Yeah,
Totally. And then
probably
all
that.
the women would win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I love that. I love that. And Drew is younger than you, right?
yeah. I'm 2 years older.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the deep stuff now.
Okay.
Amazing. Okay, so you identify as a lesbian.
Mhm.
How did you first realize that was a part of who you are? I know you said you were in an 8-year relationship. Was that with a man or a woman?
No, woman.
Oh,
I'm a
you're
gold
like,
I'm a
girl.
gold star. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, no, it was a woman. I met her in college.
Okay.
Wait, what was the question? Oh, how did I identify as a lesbian? No, so I thought I was straight like my entire life. I had a crush on every boy that I knew in high school, except for my brother-in-law, which is really funny because him and my sister are engaged now, and I've known him since I was like 14. He was the only one that I was like, nah, I don't get it. Like every other guy, and to be honest, he was the most handsome guy I went to school with, and that's probably proof that I was a lesbian because I had crushes on all of the ugly boys at my school.
Yeah.
But I would
Mhm.
never make moves on any of them or like tell people I liked them. Because me and my sister were Samoan, so we grew up Samoan, but we were not allowed to date in high school. So
Mhm.
it was even more confusing to me when I got to college because then I did the like most lesbian thing you could do. I joined the women's rugby team like before I even got to school,
Mhm.
and then I got there. So I would have friends and. Then I met all of them. I'm like, oh my god, they're all lesbians. Like, this is crazy. Not all of them were. Like, most of them were.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, and all of them like me because this is 2012 and I've never met a lesbian before, I guess. And then I met my ex on my rugby team, of course, and then we were together for 8 years. And I, for a really long time, was identifying as like, and for a really long time, this was probably the first years we were together. I was like, yeah, I like her, but I don't think I'd ever date another girl. Like, I only like guys. And then the longer we were together, I was like, okay, I think I do like, because I had never, the way I looked at her, I never looked at other women like that. So that's why it was more confusing for me too. Like, when I look back at like in high school, like there was a girl I maybe had a crush on, but like, I think I was like, nah, and I just kind of like didn't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was kind of mean to me. So, and not like, in a way where I like to be bullied. It was like, I don't know. It was very strange. Most of my friendships were people being mean to me. But
I
anyways,
was about
so
to say, what's up with these relationships or friendships that you have where they just are just fucking assholes to you?
that's yeah. And then I'll tell my sister, and she's like, "Why do you let them talk to you like that?" I go, "I don't know." And so what's it called? Probably like about 4 years into the relationship, I was like, no, I'm for sure queer. And I think like I went to school in Oregon, so being around, there's a bunch of queer people out there, I think really helped open my eyes to like different identities and ways I could look at myself and stuff like that. And then it wasn't until like the month I was turning 30, so this is like at the end of 2023, that I was like, yeah, I think I'm a lesbian. Like
Mhm.
that just seems like that makes sense to me. I think that if a man never spoke to me ever again, I would be okay. Like I would know, more than okay. I would be like awesome, because the only men I talk to regularly are in my family, and there's like more women than there are men, so I never really interact with. Like I was telling one of my friends, like I'll look for straight men for you, but I don't know that many, and all the ones I do know are married because it's my dad and my brother-in-law. So I'm like, can't really help you. So yeah, it wasn't until I was 30. I was about to turn 30, and then yeah, I started identifying as a lesbian, and that felt like really healing to me because I feel like um I mean, I look at like the Betty Who stuff or Fletcher and all the things going on right
Mhm.
now with people like that, and I can have empathy for them because I understand like the wanting to have an identity that you can stick with and that feels like you. But I also think people can change and you can have more experiences and meet
Mhm.
different people and change the way you identify. But I think the way you approach it is harmful to lesbians, not in the way I'm
Mhm.
doing it, but the way that they did it. Anyways, but that's, I think, yeah, that was when I for sure got into it, was when I turned 30.
Okay. So whenever you first started dating the ex, did you tell your parents? Like how was the coming out story if you have one?
My sister kind of talks about it a little bit in her book. It was really hard for me because I'm the oldest too. So like, I'm the oldest grandchild on both sides. I'm the oldest daughter. So like, in the Samoan culture, the oldest, like there's a lot of like responsibilities. Like you're the example for everyone to follow. That's after you. I didn't know any. That's why my rugby team was so healing for me because I had never been around that many queer women at once, and all of them were so kind and well, not all of them. The ones that I'm still close with were really nice to me and helping me figure out like how to have sex. My ex was also my first kiss. Like I'd never been kissed before. I never dated anyone. I never gone on a date. She was, I'd never had sex before. So, what's it called? I feel like my coming out experience, it was not the best, but I felt like I think everyone was just confused because I'm like, you're confused. I'm fucking confused. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Are you a lesbian? I go, no. Because I didn't at the time. Because most lesbians I saw, like, they either all looked like Ellen. So then or like Tila Tequila. So then and she's not even a lesbian. So I was kind of like, I don't see myself in any of these women that I'm looking at right now. And then Tila Tequila, I think, was like, I think queer baiting. I don't even think she ended up being bi. And she sucks. I've seen her political views. But anyways, Ellen isn't the best example either. So then I was like, well, I don't like to dress like any of these women. I don't look like them. I don't live my life like them. So I was like, well, I'm not a lesbian. And so then I felt like that's why I can have empathy for my family because they were like, okay, well, like whatever, I guess. So no, my mom called me randomly, like out of the blue, and it was like right the morning after I just admitted to my friends I had a crush on my ex. And my mom was like, I was just thinking, like I woke up this morning and I was like, you know, you haven't talked about like any boys. Like, are you going on dates or anything? Like, do you have crushes? And then I was like, how does she know this? I was like so scared. And I told her, I think I have a crush on a girl on my team. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, okay. Like, I think everyone was just like, okay, like kind of
Yeah.
about it. And I think it wasn't until they met her and then I think could see how happy it made me that everyone was like even more so like down with it. Like no one was being homophobic. They were just like confused. So that was like kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I was,
That
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how mine was too. My parents, they weren't like being homophobic. They were just like, "Oh, you've always liked boys,
Mhm.
so this is new." And then it was my mom was like, "So are you lesbian?" And I'm like, "No," because at the time I'm like, "Okay, well, like I used to like boys, so like would I identify as bisexual?" But my
Mhm.
story was kind of the same. I dated a girl, and then throughout that relationship, I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of disgusted with men. Like actually, the thought of his penis coming close to me disgusts me. So yeah, absolutely not. So yeah, it was like I realized it whenever I was with my first girlfriend where I was like, yeah, I think I actually am done with men.
So I didn't realize like, well, I didn't come out again as like a lesbian, until after we broke up. So like I had always told her like, dude, if we ever break up, because I thought we're gonna be together for a million years. It's been like 8 years. I
Mhm.
will break up. I was like, yeah, like I'll probably date men. And then as soon as we broke up, I was like, why did I say that? That's not true. I don't want to date men. But then after her, I was kind of like, wait, maybe like about a year after the breakup, I was like, wait, maybe. And then that's why like the end of the second year after my breakup, I was like, no, I'm a lesbian. That makes more sense to me. Yeah.
You're like, absolutely not. I am full woman. Yes, I get it. Oh, okay, so what has been like the most affirming moments in exploring your sexuality? And the most
Mm,
challenging?
challenging. Oh, in my identity? Well, affirming in my identity, I think like being able to say out loud that I'm a lesbian and feeling really good about it, I think felt really affirming. It was really funny because for my 30th, we went to San Diego and just stayed for the weekend. It was like my whole family and all of our friends, and we rented like a big house, and it was like I think in downtown, and it was so cute. And then everyone planned all these surprises, and so one of them was we went to a lesbian bar called Gossip Girl. I've been there like a million times, and we went on my birthday, like the night I turned 30. Like my dad came. It was really funny, and my sister had rented a section so then she could sit in there and whatever, and then also so then all the straight men that were with me could stay in there. I'm like, and don't walk around the
Yeah.
bar. And not that they would do it. It's like my dad and my brother-in-law. And that felt really affirming to me because I felt really special that we did that together because I'd always wanted to go there. And then, but affirming, I think like, was that the same year? No, it was 2023. Oh yeah, it was. Okay. For Pride Month that year, I got invited to go walk in the Pride Parade for, I think, LA Pride, because there's WeHo Pride and LA Pride. There's a difference and I can't really understand it, but I think it was for LA Pride. I got to walk in it and they let me bring my mom, and my mom wore a tank top that said like free mom hugs, and she was walking behind the float with me just hugging people. And I thought it was really special because I know how lucky I am to have a family that like affirms me in my identity and doesn't make me feel weird for being a lesbian, and listens to me talk about every fucking breakup I've ever been through and whatever's going on. And so that probably something like that. And my sister came with me too, and that was really sweet that we were all walking together. And I brought my cousins too. It was really cute. I've had like my culture, being Samoan, like I don't believe that we were like, I don't know, without the effects of colonization, I don't believe that we were homophobic or transphobic. I think that because of religion and colonization and westernization and things like that, it has brought homophobia into my culture. So with that is one of probably the biggest challenges I've had within my extended family, is that there are people that don't accept me or like who I am, and I'm okay with that. I don't really care. So that's probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to ask is like, do you feel like there's space in your Samoan culture to like openly express your queerness? I know you said your family is like accepting, like your mom's wearing free mom hugs or whatever. It's so cute. But like, I guess you said the rest of your family, there's some parts where they're not really accepting.
I don't know that it's necessarily having space within my culture. I think it's just within my family. Like my family feels like my culture to me for sure. Like that's where I ground myself. Because my sister and I, my whole family, we were raised Samoan, and within our culture, like your values are like you serve God first, your family, and then your house. So like God will always come first. And so I didn't necessarily grow up religious because my dad grew up Mormon, my mom grew up Christian. So my parents were like, they just brought us up believing, God and be a good person and stuff like that, be kind to others. Because I didn't grow up with homophobic parents. Like I said, like my mom was a cheer coach my entire life. So like I've been around so many different queer men. My mom played softball growing up, so she grew up around a lot of lesbians. So, and then my dad played football. So, and it's so funny because my dad is like, I said my dad's 6'7". He's the sweetest, kindest, like most empathetic man I've ever known. I think that's why, like, when my sister and I got older, we're like, this is what men are like. Like my dad, all the men in my family are not like this. Like my uncle's not like that. I'm like, I didn't grow up around men like that. But in regards to homophobia in my culture, it is because of what's it called, religion. And I can have empathy for that because I know that you're indoctrinated into that. You grow up in that. Like I just didn't. So I think that in regards to making space in my culture for my queerness, I think I'm just really lucky. Like two of my best friends are, one of them's my cousin and the other one is his husband, but I call them both my cousins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to sound like my cousins are married because they're not. But these cousins, one of them is Samoan like me because we're related, and then his husband is half Chamorro, which is like is it Guam? So he's like from Guam, so he's Polynesian too.
Mm-hmm.
And so all to say that like I feel like within them and their circle of friends and queerness, like I get to feel elements of my culture and be queer. So like every year they throw a really big pride party and it's so fun. My parents come and wear shirts, let's say like ally. It's really cute. And every year they do like a different theme. And so this year the theme is Cowboy Carter because they love Beyonce. So we were all just like Beyonce. But we
Period.
have this really like special like traditional it's like a celebratory dance that you do. Like I did it at both of my college and my high school graduation. My sister did it at her Sweet 16. It's called the Taulunga. So like everyone throws money at you and you dance and it's super special. And like growing up, you're like, God, I can't wait to do mine. Like it's going to be so fun. And you're usually wearing like a bunch of like, there's like a headpiece and a special like dress and stuff you have to wear. But when we do one every year at the Pride Party, and I always forgot about it until like, cause we're all like drinking and having fun. And so doing that, and like there's rainbow like flags everywhere, and we're all dancing together. It's very special. So I'm really grateful that I have access to people like that within my life that are in close proximity, that I get to not only be an annoying like dyke on the internet, but I also get to be someone and be cousins and experience my culture, because we grew up, you know, around our culture so much, that I thought I would lose access to that after I decided to, you know, be who I am, or
Mhm.
accept who I am, and walk in that path. But I'm really lucky that that's not the case. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of my next question was like, representation of like queer like Pacific Islanders is it's very limited, at least in like mainstream
Yeah.
media. Do you feel the pressure to represent or carry like visibility for your community?
I don't know that I've ever felt like it like a pressure, like in a negative way. It definitely feels like almost an honor, because I think of like my ancestors or people before who came before me. Like I know I'm not, when I came out, I kept thinking to myself, like, I know I'm not the only lesbian in this family. There are more of us. And I think that it takes a lot of bravery and courage to be who you are. And I think when you know you have to give up a lot of stuff to be who you are, um, that takes a lot of guts to do that. Like I didn't know that I knew my parents weren't homophobic, but I didn't know if they were going to cut me off. Like I was just like, well,
Yeah.
this is who I am and this is who I love. And they were like, okay. And no one cared. We still love you. I was like, okay. So I don't know that it's a pressure. I think it's one that I don't take lightly. It feels like an honor, and I feel really privileged to carry that. Um, and I know I'm not the only one that's ever existed. Tend to be the first one a lot of people see on the internet. Like, oh, I've never seen a someone lesbian, or like a femme one. Like I've seen someone like butch lesbians. I've never seen like
Mhm.
a femme, but no, I feel really honored, and it feels really special, because those are like the DMs that probably make me the most emotional that I get. That'll be like, oh, like you're like the queer Pacifica representation I've always wanted, and I see myself in you. And I've had people ask me like, how do I come out to my mom? She's really religious. Well, I don't know. Um, I love you. Like I don't know. No, so it's very special, and I feel really honored and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, cuz you're so right. I was thinking about all of the just queer representation that's on the media, and I was like, I I really don't see many Pacific Islander
Yeah.
queer people. Like seriously. And if I do, they're mainly more masculine presenting. You know what I mean? But so it is interesting, and I think it's really cool that you're still, would you say you're still big in your culture? Like you're still big in your culture and your family. Yes, and you still represent the queer community, which I think is amazing because like you said, you're people's, which you didn't word it this way, but you are someone's queer representation. Like people see you on social media and they're like, "Oh my god, like this is really cool that, she's in this culture, but she's also able to represent her queerness, and like this is unique because like all of this stuff." But I think it's cool to think about how you are someone's queer representation, and people reach out to you and they're like, "This is so cool." You know what I mean?
No, it's very special. 100%.
Do you ever get like nervous thinking about how you are people's queer representation? Like, do you ever think like, "Oh shit, like there's people watching me on social media, and they look up to me." Like, do you ever get nervous like thinking about that?
I've never thought of. Well, now I'm going to be.
Oh.
No, I've never thought about it like that. I think like I'm like, I hope people don't think I'm being weird. I don't even think about being a lesbian. Like one of my friends told me, she made this joke to me. She was like, it doesn't matter what Daison's doing on TikTok, she's gonna have that WLW hashtag at the end. And I told her, it's because I don't want anyone to ever, and it's not even because like I don't want anyone to ever watch myself and think I'm a straight woman. Like I want them to be like, oh, that's a lesbian. Like, okay. Especially I get hit on by men all the time, and I don't even think it's because I'm a lesbian. I think it's because I'm a femme, and I'm like, leave me alone. Once they find out I'm a lesbian, then it's gross, and then they're doing too much. But um, it's horrible. But
It's so
I don't
true.
think I've ever necessarily been like nervous about posting about being queer. I think that I have in the sense where like I made a video like making a joke about the Betty Who thing, where I'm like, this is how like if you're white and you made a platform off being a lesbian, like this is how you come out again. Like oh, I like men, and I'm like, oh, I've learned things about myself, and now I like men. That's it. Like you don't have to talk about lesbian. So I get nervous to make videos like that because I never want to offend people, and
Yeah.
I like obviously I'm joking, but I'm also being like it's that easy that you could just say that without having to dog out lesbians,
Hmm.
because we get dogged out all the time. So for sure, I don't think that I've ever thought about being pressured, but I do feel pressure in certain ways to not hurt people's feelings or
Yeah.
get people upset. And then what was I going to say? I think with my culture, I always want to be respectful of my culture too, because there's so many elements of it that are really important, but like there are values like they dress like conservatively, and that's because of religion. I'm like, well, I want to wear a crop top today, like things like that. But like I think like over time people like get over. But I would never talk badly about like stuff like that. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. That's crazy. I was literally just about to ask you, are there values that are in your culture that you grew up believing, and like, your parents or, whoever taught you a certain way, and now you're like, absolutely not. Like I can't follow that, or I respect it, but that's just not who I am. Or does it kind of clash with your queerness?
No, not that I can think of. I've been really lucky that I've never experienced anything like that. I think if I had grown up in the church more, then I could be like, oh, like, all my friends dress conservatively, but I don't. But I didn't, so I don't have anything like that that I've grown up with
Yeah.
necessarily.
And it's so true. Like you said, a lot of like the homophobic aspects of culture relate to religion.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
all
so
rooted in, yeah.
and it's so true. Like, oh my gosh, I had an episode where I actually had a pastor on. He was a pastor, and then he started making clip arts that was super progressive. Like he was like a big ally. He was like speaking
Cool.
out for like the marginalized groups. Like he was amazing. And his church pretty much was like, you can't be making these clip arts, and if you do, you're not going to be a pastor here anymore. Long story short, he came on and I was talking to him about it, and we went so deep into like religion and homophobia, or yeah, homophobia, and like we just went in, and it was such an interesting topic. And every single time someone brings up that, like, it's funny because I've had so many people on my podcast that are queer, and they're like, yeah, I grew up like Catholic. I went to like a Catholic school. It's just so funny how, sorry, I'm kind of ranting right now, but so many queer people grow up religious. Like it's such a interesting, like, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Like
But
we all kind of end up in the same thing, and then we're like, well, we're all queer. Well, because I didn't grow up religious, I didn't start going to church until I was dating my first girl, my ex, and I had like a like a late coming to Jesus type of moment where I was like, I love going to church and I love Jesus and I want to. And this is like right when we started dating, and then I went back to school for my sophomore year, and then I'd go to church every Sunday. I didn't have a car, so I'd have to fucking wait. I'd be like out all night Saturday with all my friends, like getting drunk and whatever, and then I'd wake up early on Sunday to go to church, and I didn't have a car, so I'd have to take the bus, and the bus doesn't come the same times on Sundays. It's different, so you have to like get up early. It's this whole thing. I'm hungover, but I go to church every Sunday. I did it for like God, maybe like 6 or 8 months, like almost a year. Like
you
I
were
found that
committed.
because, and to be honest, I know it's because I was embarrassed of being gay. Like I know that that's what it was rooted in. I also felt like being in the church brought a closeness to parts of my family that I don't have access to anymore, that I didn't have growing up because I didn't grow up going to the church. So like that summer, my mom was like, "Oh yeah, your cousins are doing like a church camp." I was like, "Oh my God, how fun." Because I love my cousins. And she's like, "Yeah, I signed up you and your sister." I was like, "Why would you do that? I don't want to go." But we went, and it was so fun because I got to go with all my cousins. But I also cried the whole time. And I also just think that like,
Wait, hold on. You said you cried the whole time?
yeah, because there's something in worship music that makes me so emotional. I also cry every time I listen to like my cousins sing. I feel like a lot of Samoan people are so talented musically. So anytime I hear them sing, it always makes me cry. And there's something in worship music, I don't know what it is, it makes me cry every single time I hear it. And so I remember I cried, and then I felt like a closeness or like a feeling that I'd never felt. And I felt like, okay, like this is my, like, I love church. Like I want to go to church. I want to feel closer to God. I wanted it, I think, to help with like, I didn't know I had anxiety at the time. So I felt like that was being alleviated. I'm like, well, I can't have anxiety. Like God has my life. Like he's going to figure it out. Like I don't have to worry about it. Like what am I being anxious about? Like Jesus has my back. And then, I found a little church in Oregon that I was going to like while I was going to school. And then, I got kicked out of that church for being gay. And that was probably my first heartbreak when I think about it now. It was so crazy because I was like, what? Mind you, it's all white people. No offense, but like, it's Oregon. So
It's faking, girl. I get it.
it's all white people. And I picked this tiny church because it was a Calvary church, and that was like similar to the one I was going to at home. So my uncle was helping me figure it. So I found that church. I went, and I would bring my ex with me. And at the time, she was more like mask presenting, so she had like short hair and wore boy clothes. They were so afraid of her, and it used to make me laugh because I was like, "You should be afraid of me. It's not her. She's not gonna say anything. I'll say something." So I used to tell her like, especially because at my church at home, it's like all of my cousins, it's like my aunts, my uncles, everyone I know that growing up, they all went to the same church. So I was so excited that now I'm going to this church regularly when I come home. And then, what's it called? I was like, oh, like they don't talk about the homophobic writings in the Bible. Like I've never heard that. As many times I've gone to my family church, we've never talked about that or anything like that. Then I go to this one. The second time I went, I took my ex. That was like the first one he read. I go, for sure. And then I told her, I just feel like if God loves me, like why would he make me like this if he hated me? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. And then yeah, I went for a really long time. I would like volunteer for stuff because I was like, I'm gonna be a good Christian. Like I love making things for people. I love helping. I love like, and I think like in my culture, we're so rooted in service to others that like I was like, of course I'll bake a cake for. They had like a I think it was like homeless youth. So like you would go like serve them food. So I baked a cake and also, yeah, he kicked me out of the church. It was horrible. And like really traumatizing. I laugh about it now, but at the time I was like, girl, I don't know if I could, and I never wanted to go to church ever again. So coming home after that, I was like, I don't want to go, but I would go and then be like, I'm not listening to any of this. And it made me feel sad. I feel like that made me feel like I was losing a little bit of access to my culture, but then I was like, it's okay. Like, I didn't grow up like this. It was only, I
But
think
you
I was
also
like,
went to an all-white church, so it really wasn't like you weren't really losing access to your culture because it was a white fucking church that was being homophobic to you. You know
so
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, good for you for wanting to go to church, though. Like, in that moment, did you know the background of like religion and like people being homophobic and like religion? Like, did you know that that was a connection and you still like went just to see, or like what? Because me, like now, I'm like, which this might be like kind of close minded, but I'm like, I know that there's churches out there now that are super progressive and they're great and like they do amazing things, but like I always get nervous to step into a church because I'm like, they might be progressive, but maybe they are seeing things differently. You know what I mean? Like, so sorry. I always go on rants. My brain like goes
What?
off in like a crazy, like different world. But yeah, during that time, were you ever like aware before going in, like, okay, this church can be homophobic?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think I just was like, it's again me giving the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, well, why would they talk about that? We don't talk about that in my other church. Like these are both like Calvary churches. Like, why would we talk about that? And then when he
Yeah.
did the very first day, I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. And I was like trying to convince my ex to like going to church. I told her I just like to go because I also go because I'm like I want to like pray for my family. I want to pray for my friends and my people I care about, and I want to go and like serve the Lord because it makes me feel good. So it's like in serving the Lord, I'm like feeding homeless youth. I'm donating stuff for like fire victims, or I don't even remember what we were doing. Like, or they were making like Christmas packages for like kids. Like I was like, I'll do that. But yeah, like honestly, it came to a head because they were saying, oh, we need Sunday school teachers. I was like, oh my God, I would love to do that. So then when I go home, I could do it for like my cousins and I could work at my family's church. And then I signed up like 3 times. They're like, yeah, no one's signing up. And I was like, I keep signing up. So I was like, maybe they're like running out of people. I don't know. And I was like trying to, because I would only go every Sunday. So this is like every week I'd be like, I thought I signed up last week. I go sign up again. And then one of those Sundays I went to the mall with my ex after, and we went to Chili's as one does after church. You go to Chili's, and then we were walking around holding hands. And I was like not looking. I like my head was turned while we were holding hands. And she like ripped her hand out of mine. And I go, what the fuck? And I turned around and my pastor and his wife were right there with their kid. And I was like, oh, and they didn't know we were dating. So like at the church, I never said we were girlfriends. They just knew me as like Dyson and what's her face. And so then they were like, oh, how's your Sunday going? I was like, oh, it's good. Like, great service today. Oh, man, I love the message. I told like the hunting wives, oh, I love the message today, girl. Like, you killed it. So my pastor, he was like, yeah, sure. His wife looked horrified. I was so embarrassed. And then he told me, because he kept telling me that he wanted to take us to dinner, like him and his wife. I was like, yeah. Because I was thinking, like, that's normal to go to dinner with your pastor. Like, I've done it. But my pastor at home is my uncle. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, why wouldn't I do that? Like, that's fine. So then I was like, yeah, I gave him my number. He texted me, whatever. Then I go, we plan the dinner, we go, and I remember we pulled up and my ex was like, okay, what are we gonna do? I'm all, if they ask us if we're dating, I'm not gonna lie, they've just never asked us. And she was like, okay. And then we were staring at her, I'm like, I'll be honest, I'll do it. And she was like, okay. That's the first question him and his wife asked us as soon as we sat down. Are you guys, like, how do you guys know each other? I said, well, we're girlfriends. We've been together for, I think at that point it was like a year and a half or something. And then he was like, okay, and like, are your parents accepting of this? And then I was like, yeah, they are. And then they were like, oh, okay. Because he's thinking like my parents are like him, like where they're like in the church or whatever. He was like, okay. And then after I said that, like then his wife, her and I were sitting across from each other. She wouldn't look me in the eye. She was super awkward. And I kept trying to ask her questions about like their son. And then it wasn't until a few weeks later, I went to church. They had a potluck after. I was like, I'm leaving. Because it felt, after that, he stopped saying hi to me at church. And I would cry every day. I'd leave. And then one time they had a potluck and he was like, oh, are you gonna stay? Because my ex had work that day, so she didn't go with me. I was like, no, I gotta go home. And he was like, you should stay. And I was like, okay. So I did, because I felt guilty, or guilted into staying. And then he asked me to come talk to him. I was like, oh, dude, he's gonna talk about it. So he's like, I just want to talk about, like, you and what's her face, like, being together. I was like, okay. And he goes, I can't be your pastor, like, if you're gonna choose to live your life like that. And then I was like, okay, well, that's fine. And he was just staring at me. But I go, because, like, I don't want this to sound rude to you, but, like, I have a pastor at home. So, like, this is just like while I'm here in Oregon, I'm going to school, like, I just go here for it. So I get, the service, I get the message, and I go to church. And he was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, yeah, but then also, like, because you're, like, living in sin. And I was like, yeah, but, like, I mean, I doesn't have to do with you, like. And he was like, well, because he was like, well, because, like, and I get that this sin is different, because, like, I used to be an alcoholic, and I used to cheat on my wife all the time, and I used to do this. And I was like, why are you admitting me to all your sin? So I was like, okay, what are you telling me all this? And then he was like, and, like, this sin is different because, like, you're has to do with love. I go, okay. He goes, and, like, I don't know, it's just, like, because you like, don't want to lie to kids and stuff. And I was like, lie? And we were just staring at each other, and I told him, wait, kids, is that why you haven't asked me to do Sunday school? You wanted to know if I was gay? And then we're just staring at each other, and I go, okay, is that what you mean? Like, I can't lie to kids? And he goes, well, yeah. And I told him, well, what kid do you know that's going to see me and her not holding hands, just saying yes to each other? I know that we're dating.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're staring at each other, and I told him, and if they ask me, are you guys dating? I'm not going to lie. I'd be like, yes. And that is what I'm living in sin, according to you. I told him, but they're not going to ask me that. I told him, they're going to ask me, when is this done? I want to go eat donuts and go home. They don't care about, I'm like, when I was like 7, I wasn't like, I bet those guys are gay. Like, I wasn't even thinking of that. Like, what are you talking about? So then I ended with him being like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm like, I don't know, I feel really bad because I just feel like I'm offending you. And I'm like, you are offending me. And then I never went to that church again. And then I tried going to, like, queer churches and stuff, but it just didn't feel the same. And I think I just was like, so I guess, like, traumatized and, like, over it, that I was like, nah, I don't want to go anymore. So yeah.
That's crazy. That sucks. I'm sorry. Are you religious at all now?
No. But, like, people, I'm all, no. And, like, I'll pray to, like, my ancestors. I don't know that I necessarily pray to, like, God, or, like, and I'll ask, like, the universe for help. But sometimes I do pray to God, because I do believe in somewhat of a higher being. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but today's the rapture too. I hope we're okay while we're recording this.
All right.
Oh wait, did everyone already get taken because we're still here? I don't want to know what happened. Yeah, wait. But no, I'm not religious anymore. But I love it for other people. I get why people like it. I loved it forever. And I wanted it. And I think that, like, organizations like that will kind of prey on people who want to be part of something bigger than who they are, and build community and have a sense of space and camaraderie and stuff like that. And I get that, because I loved going, and I loved being part of it. And I loved learning about it, because so much of Christianity and even Mormonism, like, in religion in general, is, like, sewn through my culture. So it made me feel closer to it. But it's okay. If that's, like, the one aspect I lose, I'm like, whatever. That's fine.
No, I get it. Yeah, I'm not religious either. I grew up Christian, and then once I came out, I just started seeing things, like, in a different perspective. And now it's like I go back and forth. I'm like, I believe that there's a higher power. I'm like, there has to be, like, who created this? Like, like, I don't know who it is or what it is. Like, it could be, like, I don't fucking know. But yeah, religion is a very interesting topic. I could, like, have, like, fucking 30 episodes on it. It's just
Yeah.
it's just such an interesting thing. Okay, so you're obviously on social media. Social media can be an amazing place. Sorry, my cat's freaking out. I don't know if you can hear him.
No, I thought it was mine earlier, and I go, well, but I hear it on here. You're totally fine. I think it's
You're like,
yeah.
what is this? Where is this cat coming from? Yeah, he's, like, freaking out. So social media can be, like, a really scary place, but it can also be, like, really amazing. But how do you, like, balance your mental health, like, with the pressures of being a creator online?
Well, I'm a huge advocate for therapy. If you are doing this for a living, you need to be in therapy. 1,000,000%. I think, I mean, I feel so, like, I used to call myself, like, a Nepo baby, because my sister has a platform first, and that's how I'm like, hey, Dixie D'Amelio didn't become Dixie D'Amelio overnight. We all had a Charlie, so I'll take that. That's fine. I was gonna say that I think that because I've watched the hate that my sister gets is, like, nothing compared to what I've ever experienced. Have I gotten tastes of it? 1,000,000%. But I think watching her go through, like, literally men, being disgusting and saying horrible things to her for like the last like 4 years, and seeing her be like, they're like, you're fat and ugly and I think you should die. And she's like, you're bald and that's why no one likes you. Go back to work at AutoZone, send. And she's like, and then she ends it with, and suck my dick from the back, send. So like, I think watching her be like, anyways, what were we talking about? And we're talking about like the summer turned pretty. Like, I think seeing that level of like whatever about it, it helps me a lot in how I look at the internet too. Like, yeah, but it's like, it's similar to like, it sucks getting, I've never really gotten hate from my own community. Never mind, I'm not even gonna manifest that. But it's definitely because of my sister. That's, I think, what's given me the biggest, like, okay, I'll be like the sigh of relief for sure.
Totally. Yeah. Because you see how much she's gone through and what
Yeah.
people say about her, but she's able to be like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say something real quick and then let's go, watch a TV show or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. But it still hurts having people say certain things about you. I mean, like, I feel like whenever you got like your first like hate comment, how did you, or the first one that you saw, how did you respond? Were you like, oh my God, like this is fucking insane? Or, you know what I mean? Like, did you have to like adjust to it?
No, I for sure did. Because I didn't start posting until 2023. So this is like, my sister had been doing this for already about almost 2 years.
Yeah.
At that point, I posted a video in like 2021. This was like right before I moved to New York with my ex that I'm no longer with. And I filmed a video. It was like a scene in the Goofy movie where Goofy does something really weird near the end and he makes a weird face. And it made me laugh a million times. So I kept watching it. So I filmed it for my TikTok and then I was like, what is he doing right here? That was like a whole TikTok. It was like 10 seconds long. What is Goofy doing right here? This is so funny. I had one little like shithead kid. He was probably like 12. He wrote, what is this? And then I put, and then it embarrassed me so bad. I deleted my video. And my sister was like, dude, you're not going to make it. And we couldn't stop laughing. I was like, I don't know how you get hate like the way you do now, dude. Because this was also before I was in therapy. I was like, I don't know how you get hate like that. And you like still go to the gym. Like if I got, and my hate, it wasn't even hate. It was like a kid being annoying. Like, he could have written skibbity toilet riz, and I just think I would take that as him offending me. I'm like, you're so rude. Why would you say that to me? That was like my first hate comment. But like other ones I've gotten, I don't know. They're always about my body for the most part, but that like, and those ones you think would affect me more, but I'm like, you're wrong. This one I was like that one still sticks to me. That was like the first one I read. What is this? And I'm like, oh, delete my account. I delete my video. I'm embarrassed.
I was about to say, like, he put something on your post and you're like, I'm deactivating my TikTok immediately. That is so funny. Those fucking 12-year-olds, I swear, they could honestly say the most brutal things. Like, I used to be a kindergarten teacher. That's a whole other topic. And those kids are brutal. Even the kindergartners, like, they're just brutal. They will tell you not even how it is. They're just fucking assholes. Like, they're just rude.
In middle school, I'm like, these kids are mean. That's why I've always said, like, I would love to be a teacher, and I'd want them when they're little. I'm like, but then I see how much access they have to the internet right now. I'm like, why are we all the 6-7 thing? My sister was just explaining that to me. I was like, I would hate being a teacher right now. They're like, you guys cannot yell mid or whatever words. No more skibbity toilet riz. Like, they're like, no words you can't say. I couldn't imagine working.
Yep, my mom, she's a high school teacher, and whenever she FaceTimes me, what'd you say?
I said it must be hell. I can't even imagine.
It's hell, but she also like loves it. Like she loves it, but she FaceTimes me and she always tells me the little like phrases that they're coming up with, and she always says 6-7 now. Like my mom is saying 6-7. Like I'm like, hey mom, like what time are you gonna like do this? And she's like, I don't know, 6-7. And I'm like, oh, and I don't even know what it means. Like, what does it even mean? Do we know?
To me, what, because I've seen people doing it. I know, but what does it mean? I don't think it's supposed to mean anything. Like, that's how I'm deciding. I'm like, I'm too old to know what that means, and that's okay.
It's like, it doesn't even make sense, so who cares? Yeah. I get it. Okay, so speaking of your sister, you guys have a podcast together. It's called Two Idiot Girls. So what inspired you guys to start this podcast?
We always describe our podcast as like, it's like a sleepover with like your favorite like cousins, and everyone gets to be silly and you're making up dances and you're having fun and laughing, and eating snacks and stuff like that. We started the podcast, I think at the beginning of 2021. That's why like the first season's like 6 episodes, and they're all the production on them. They did not have Riverside at that time. Like they did not have popcorn like this. It was like, so the quality on them is not good. But we started it because we've always wanted to have like some type of thing. Like, we just didn't know it was gonna be a podcast, like whether it was like a talk show or radio show or something like that, where we're just like, it's literally to make each other laugh. That's the whole show, is like, what, like, who can make each other laugh the most. And that's how it is when we hang out with each other, just naturally. And so we tried YouTube for a little bit. It is so hard to go viral on there, especially like we were trying to do it, I think in like we tried it a million times, like just filming challenges and filming makeup videos and filming this. We did a lot during COVID, like lockdown and stuff, like, because we have loved the internet forever. My sister and I are like born and bred YouTube kids. And so, what's it called? We just didn't think we didn't know what podcasting was like when we thought of it. So we started the podcast, and it's just been so much fun. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
That's good. No, literally YouTube, like most of my listeners are on like Spotify or like Apple Podcasts or wherever you can find the podcast on. YouTube, it is so hard to promote YouTube and to get people to, I don't even know what it is. Like, it's so hard. It's like, I don't know. It's the hardest thing ever. And you can post almost every day, and it's like, what is happening? My listeners, like, I have this amount of listeners, so why aren't they coming over to YouTube? Like, what is going on? You know what I mean? It's so hard. You just have to like promote it over and over and over and over
I know.
again.
It's really, yeah. Like, you have like one go viral, and then everyone's like, oh, I didn't know you were on YouTube. Yeah. I have the same issues. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you and Drew balance y'all's like different like strengths and personalities when creating the show? Like, do you guys come up with the topics together, or like, yeah, just tell us how it goes.
Sure. So when we started and like took it much more seriously, this was like right after my 8-year breakup. My mom was like, "You're gonna do the podcast every day." I was like, "Okay," because it turned into like a passion project for me to focus on instead of focusing on being sad, which is really cool. But so I take on most, or by most I mean all production aspects. My sister mostly just helps me with creating content and stuff like that in regards to making up the topics. So the topics, we pick them like. That's why, like, when people go, how do you pick, like, what to name your episodes? I'm like, whatever makes me laugh, that's the name of the episode. Because I upload everything. I, edit everything. I used to do all the editing and production and everything. And then now I taught my uncle how to edit. So my sister retired him, so he does all the editing for us. And then I just review everything he does, and then I have everything uploaded. And then recently we've been pulling topics from our Patreon. So we're like, what kind of topics you guys want us to talk about? So our episode that came out today, someone said you guys should host like a courtroom type of thing where like people submit their petty disputes and then you guys decide like who's right. So like those are really funny because it was like, my boyfriend keeps using clean towels every day. Like, should I be mad at him? And we're like, first of all, he's a man, so yes, you're right, and he's wrong. And second of all, yes, because if you hang up your towel, you can use it more than once. So, anyways, I think that it's really fun, and I really enjoy doing it. But we do it together, and it's really special.
That's great. I love that. I feel like if I had a podcast with my sister, I would be wanting to freaking tear her head off. I don't feel like I would be able to do it with her. Like, do you guys ever get into arguments or like disagreements where you're like, absolutely not, we're not doing this, or like anything just like podcast related?
I mean, we get in like little arguments because we're sisters. I think like our biggest thing is just like our mom has always raised us like, you guys are best friends. Like my sister's my best friend. Like you guys do everything together, and that's just how we've always been. And we've always been attached at the hip. Like you've never seen one without the other, especially growing up. And when we started the podcast, my mom is like, she said the podcast come first. Can you imagine if she said that? No. She said, your sisterhood always comes first. So like growing up, my mom would be like, don't ever let a boy get in between you guys. We didn't know I was gay, so like that didn't matter. But my mom like has always said, don't ever let like money get in between you guys. Like your sisterhood comes first. Like, if you guys are fighting about money or fucking something stupid, then I'm gonna say no more podcasts and no one gets to do anything. And so like family to us always comes first. So I think that's the lens we always look at each other with, especially because we know each other so well. Because even though we're 2 years apart, it was almost like we grew up like twins. So like it would be like, okay, you guys, like, when can I wear makeup? My mom's like, you can wear it at 13. And when I turned 13, I got makeup, and Drew's 11, and Drew also gets to use makeup. I'm like, okay, whatever, Or your first concert, you have to be this old to go. Drew also gets to go. And it's because we do everything together. So I'm like, what? So it shouldn't be when you guys, it should be when Dyson turns this age, you guys get to do it together. But it's, this career that my sister has truly, flagshipped for me and my family has been such a blessing, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to us, and we're so grateful to her for it. So we do get in arguments, but then like it'll be like super fast and over. Like I don't think we've never had one big enough, especially working together, that we've ever been like, you know what, I don't want to do the pod anymore. Like
Yeah.
that's never been it. It'll be like, I don't want to film at that time, and I'll be like, well, I have stuff to do, and then she's like, well, I have stuff to, and then it's like scheduling, and then
Yeah.
we figure.
Yeah, no, I
It's like,
get that. What has been one of the biggest mistakes, or I don't like the word failure, so we'll just say like a mistake that you've had in your career, and then how did you learn from it?
biggest mistake.
You're like, I don't make mistakes.
I'm actually perfect, and I've never. I don't know because I have my sister as an example. I have so many screens to filter all my shit through. So it's like before I do most things. Well, not really content wise because it's like because I post everything that I'm like that's funny. I'll post that or I like that video.
Yeah.
Maybe a mistake. I kind of like low key soft launched someone like, and I wish I hadn't. I think that's probably the only one. And it didn't feel like a failure. Well, that failed, so that's why it felt like a mistake. That's probably the only thing I can think of that I was like, yeah, I don't know, but see, I say that every time. I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm not posting this person, or I'm not gonna do this when I date someone, and then I'm like, wait, like I really like them.
Yeah.
I saw someone, and I wished I hadn't, but like low key, I mean, no, well, I didn't say it. It was a picture I put in my story. You couldn't see our faces, and that was the most replies I've ever gotten to a story I've ever posted ever. It was unbelievable. I'm like, you bitches are so fake. Which one any of my other content? It's just a picture. But everyone was being really nice about it, so not really. But being mean to me. But I think I regretted that. But then I was like embarrassed. I was like, oh, everyone's gonna know because then I'm like posting about like whatever, and I don't post her anymore or whatever, and I only posted her one time. That's probably the only thing, and I don't know that I'll ever do it. I don't know how long I'll date someone and then I'll do it. Well, first of all, I did it because we were girlfriends. I was like, I'm not doing that until I'm your girlfriend. Then I didn't know we were gonna break up right after that. But yeah, that's
Doesn't
probably
that suck? That's usually literally always how it works. Like you take forever to post this person because you're like, I want to
yeah,
make sure that they're the one. Like I want to make sure that we make it official. And then once
yeah.
it's official, you're like, okay, I feel like the time is right. And then it's like the universe is like, bitch, you just posted this, so now it's not
I'm
gonna
taking
work.
it away. Yeah. Well, and then were there other signs it wasn't going to work? Yeah. And that's my fault for ignoring them. All red flags look green to you when you're wearing rose colored glasses. So probably that was probably like the only like online mistake I can think of. I'm like,
Yeah.
go ahead and do that. But yeah, no one said anything to me after, so I was like, I'll take it. That's fine.
Did you feel embarrassed? Were you like, oh my God, like I posted her and now like she's never gonna be posted again because like we broke up.
Yeah, like I was like, people are gonna know that I'm going through another breakup, and
Yeah.
then even then, my sister was telling me, or I saw a girl on TikTok. She said, if we didn't date for a year, you never dated me. I don't know who you are. That's how I look at it. So I've only ever had one real ex. The rest of these guys that my sister is calling, those are like little blips in your life. They're just experiences you had. That's not an ex. I go, I know. I call them ex when I'm talking about it, but like in this situation, I'm like, no, it's not an ex. So
You know
yeah.
what? I like that. I like that train of thought. They're not exes, they're just like little side quests.
Yeah, it's a moment. Yeah.
It's a moment and we're figuring it out. Um okay, so what are you working on now? Do you have anything fun coming up? Anything exciting you want to, tell the listeners?
Well, I have my podcast, Two Idiot Girls. We post every Tuesday. That's like my little baby. I'm obsessed with that podcast. Um, and what else? I might be doing another podcast that's more queer forward, but I haven't really solidified everything in that. And it'll be with one of my friends, which I'm really excited about.
So like you're going to start another podcast.
Yeah, and this one will be more queer focused, similar to this. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then yeah, so I might be doing another podcast. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it.
Amazing. Damn, you're
I did
going
it
to
earlier
be
this year, but it just didn't work out timing wise. But yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be busy. So are you still going to be doing the one with your sister and this one?
Yeah, so my sister has her two podcasts, and now I'll have two podcasts. So just that it's another side quest for me to experience my life. Yeah.
Hey, these side quests, I mean, that's what they're here for, you know? Um, okay, so this is just random, but I like to end with like some fun little questions. So if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, um, like, you know, I guess yeah, your younger self before you became big, on social media, that kind of stuff before you were in like, the public eye, what would that advice be?
Um, because I'm thinking my younger self. Well, if it depends on how old I am, I would tell myself for sure you're a lesbian. That we need to think about that right now. We're thinking about that now. I'm talking about that now. Um, and I would also tell her that not everyone's thinking as much about you as it feels like they are, if that makes sense. Like that's always been my biggest like hang up when I'm doing things publicly or like even like ordering at a restaurant. Like I'm like, oh, I said that word weird and that waiter is going to make fun of me for the next like 10 years of his life. And he's going to think about it every day. Like I think of how many experiences I have of people where they do something funny around me and I forget. Like I couldn't, you were saying like, what's the biggest fight you had with your sister? I couldn't tell you. I don't remember. So I think I would tell my younger self, not everyone's thinking about you nearly as much as it feels like they are. And I think that, I don't know. You're so much cooler than you think you are. Like, I really wish I could have been nicer to myself. And I'm still working on that now. And I would also tell myself there's nothing wrong with you. You're just an anxious, like, emotional little gal, and that's okay. And you're gay.
You're
That's how it
gay.
is.
You're gay. No, I love that. I love that. Okay, what do you hope listeners or, viewers take away from your work, whether that's like the podcast, social media, and then what change do you hope you're helping to bring out?
I mean, takeaway for sure. I mean, what's really cool is I feel like we have a really pretty solid like queer audience for our podcast, but I also know like I've had so many of them tell me like I see myself in you, and that feels so special to me.
Mhm.
Especially like I said, like if there's someone or Pacifica, like that means a lot to me. Um, I think I hope they take away that like that I don't know. I hope they learn how to be more compassionate and kind and empathetic to everyone.
Besides
And
men.
besides men and bigots. So I'm like, except for them, yeah, everyone else. But I hope that I think that I've had people tell me before that like seeing you live your life, so honestly, it gives me hope and that I can do the same thing. And so I think I just hope that I could be an example to people that you could be yourself, even learn who you are at 30 and be like, wait, actually I'm a dyke and I should have been saying this the whole time and I was being silly and that's my bad. And even then, like I could be 33 and something changes. It won't, but knock on wood. But I hope that I could be an example to people that they can see that you can, live your life like in your skin as you are and as authentically as you want to. And people will still love you and you could still be yourself. I think authenticity is like the biggest thing people need to be doing on social media because I can tell when people are fake, and they're like, oh,
Mhm.
so and so's getting canceled for this. I'm like, well, I think what's been making me laugh is everything that's happening right now in the media, and people are going, I'm unfollowing so and so because I think she did this. I'm like, well, yeah, look at what she does. Like,
Yeah, like what did you expect?
yeah, I'm surprised. It's so silly. I think that I just hope that I could be like a sense of comfort for people online where they're like, oh, I like to watch you because it's fun. It's like I'm on FaceTime or I'm talking to my friends. Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Like a little safe space. I hope that that's what our podcast is for people. And I hope that I could be that for other people too. And then they go and do that for other people and then pass it down.
Yeah, and then it's funny because obviously like I've been following you and your sister for a little bit, but of course I have to do my research whenever I do have people on, and whenever I like looked you up, the first thing it said it was like Dyson is known for her like kindness. It was like the cutest and sweetest little thing. I was like, "Oh, like I love that." And so I think
Mhm.
exactly what you're saying is like exactly how you are portraying yourself. And it's so true, like when you're authentic, people know. And when you're
Yeah.
not, people can clock it real
Mhm.
quick. You know what I mean? And like that's unfortunately why there's a lot of people that are trying to make it big, but they're just trying to do the little trends, which it's like,
Yeah.
do your thing, but it's also like, just be yourself. And
You want to
people
keep
will stick to that,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm. 1,000%.
Period. Okay, well, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for coming on. But if you want to drop your socials, let people know where to find you, where to find y'all's podcast, definitely do that.
So you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Deison Afualo. And then my podcast with my sister Drew Afualo is called Two Idiot Girls.
I love that. It's so funny. Okay, well, again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
And
you.
so for my listeners, I try to post every Wednesday. Sometimes I get so busy, guys. Like This is me being authentic, okay? Sometimes I get, a lot of shit that I have to do. So try to post every Wednesday. I have some really cool people coming on. So definitely stay tuned and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye.